Good evening, grade 8s. You might be asking yourself, why am I standing in my kitchen right now with a Kit Kat in my hand? Not only is it my favorite chocolate bar, as most of you know, it's going to help us in today's math lesson. Today's math lesson is going to focus on multiplying fractions by whole numbers. Now, the reason I have this Kit Kat here is because you might not know, aside from this being my favorite candy bar, I also make a world famous Kit Kat cheesecake. I have my recipe right here, and the thing is, when I make it, it's simple. It calls for 3/4 of a Kit Kat. Basically what happens is I open up my Kit Kat and I take 3 bars, crumple them up for the crust, and then there's always a 4th piece, and I tend to eat that. Problem is, and how this ties into our math lesson today, is I have a family reunion happening next weekend, and my family has asked me to make a bunch of these Kit Kat cheesecakes for the reunion. So I have to make 7 of these Kit Kat cheesecakes. So you got to help me figure out how many Kit Kats do I have to go buy from the grocery store to make 7 of these Kit Kat cheesecakes when it only requires 3/4 of one of these Kit Kats. I don't have a ton of money, so I don't want to go spending any more money on Kit Kats than I have to. So that's going to be our lesson today. I'm going to show you how to do this question with Cubolinks, and I'm also going to show you how to do it on a number line. So let's get started. Alrighty, grade 8s. So here's my Kit Kat that I use for my world famous Kit Kat cheesecake. Let's take a look at it here. I'll open it up. Now, if you've never seen a Kit Kat before, you can see it's broken into 4 even pieces. So what I typically do on my Kit Kat cheesecake is I'll break off these 3 pieces right here, and I will see there's 3 pieces there. This is the 4th one. Well, what I do is I take these 3 pieces, I'll put them in a little grinder and crumple them on cheesecake, and then this one I will eat. Okay, so there you go. That's what a Kit Kat looks like. So that's easy. If I have to just make one cheesecake, it's simple. Now the problem is my family reunion. I need 7 cheesecakes. So take a look at these things. You might have seen them in class before. We've used them. They're called Cubolinks. So what we're going to do is I want to model this problem using Cubolinks. So I don't have a bunch of Kit Kats in the house, but what I do have is these Cubolinks kicking around. So I'm going to take 4 at a time. Now these 4 Cubolinks are going to represent our Kit Kat. Do you get that? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a bunch of Kit Kats, like so. Now remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 extra. Let's put that away. So here you go. I needed to make 7 of these cheesecakes. So some of you are probably saying, just go buy 7 Kit Kats. But the problem is, I don't want to if I don't have to, and I don't think I need to go buy 7 Kit Kats. So let's take a look at these Cubolinks here. All right. So there's 4 of these Cubolinks to one of these bars. Now, if you remember, the recipe calls for 3/4. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3/4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So get rid of my extra there. Those are all eaten. So these are all the pieces I will need to make 7 Kit Kat cheesecakes. Now, when you go and buy a Kit Kat from the store, it comes in 4 pieces. So what I can start doing to solve this is, let's make whole Kit Kats here. So in this case, I'll steal one from here. Boom. There's 1 Kit Kat. So I know I'm going to have to go at least buy 1 Kit Kat. Well, I'll take this one. It's got 3, so I'll break this up. Boom. Well, now I know I'm going to need to buy at least 2 Kit Kats. I got remaining pieces here, so I'm going to start joining them. Oh, I'm going to have to buy at least 3 Kit Kats to make my 7 bars. So break these apart. Another Kit Kat. There's 4. Ooh, take a look at this. 5 Kit Kats and 1 extra piece. So when I go to the grocery store tomorrow to buy my supplies for my world famous Kit Kat cheesecake, I will need to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in this case I'll have to buy a 6th Kit Kat, and it just means there will be 3 extra pieces because I only need 1 of the 4, and I'm going to have 3 extra ones. Oh, and my cat might actually try to get those pieces. So what I would do is there'd be 3 leftover pieces I would get to eat. So actually, I don't need to buy 7 Kit Kats in this case. I need to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 Kit Kats and 1/4. Thank you. Alrighty, grade 8, so I want you to show you something here. So we learned how to multiply fractions by whole numbers using the Cubalinks. I'm about to show you in a second how to use a number line I just made here at home. So let's go back to the question. The problem at hand is I needed to make 7 of these Kit Kat cheesecakes, and each recipe called for 3/4 of a Kit Kat. Correct? So a couple things. Anytime you see this multiplication sign, you can just really think of it as repeated addition. So I could have done this 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. You get the idea. I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So that's one way, but can you imagine if these numbers, these whole numbers are really big, we'd be here forever and this thing would run out of ink. So what you do though, if we're adding these fractions together, remember is you just add the numerator. In this case the top number is the numerator, so it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And what we've learned in the previous years in math is that you do not add the denominator, that's the number, the bottom number, you just write it down. So in this case, 7 times 3 is 21/4. And then when we had our Cubalinks here, we figured out that we needed to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we had 1/4 of a Kit Kat left. So guess what? How many times is 4 going to 21 without going over? It goes in 5 times, and we said we had 1 piece left. So there you go. That proves that the Cubalink method worked. Now I want to show you one other method for this lesson, and that is this number line. So take a look at this number line. 0 to 7, and I've broken it up into fourths, so you can see that. So let's take my red pen, so it might be easier for you to see. We're going to start at 0, and all we're going to do is we're going to jump our number line by 3/4 each time. So help me out here. As I do this, start at 0, I'm going to go to my first 3/4. That's great. 1, 2, 3. I jump by 3. Now I jump by 3 again. 1, 2. I'm going to end up here. That's 2 jumps. 1, 2, 3. There's my third jump. 1, 2, 3. There is my 4th jump. 1, 2, 3. There is my 5th jump. 1, 2, 3. Jump number 6. And we said we needed 7 of these cheesecakes for the family reunion. So 1, 2, 3. I end up right there. Right there is my final answer. In this case, it is 5 and 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So, a couple different ways you can do this. Repeated addition, that might take you a long time. You can use Cubalinks in the classroom to get the idea, which I did the first time. You can use a number line, which I will have ready for you tomorrow. What I want you to start thinking about though is go back to this 7 times 3/4. Look at this 21/4. Do you see a pattern? Let's take a look for a second. Remember, 2 math lessons from now, we're going to start looking at these patterns and come up with a rule. I want you to start kind of looking for a rule there. See if you can see a pattern starting to emerge. Great, so I'm going to give you one more question here. I want you to try and answer it, and we'll see you at class tomorrow. So here's your question for the night. I'm going to leave you with this. Let's do something like this. You've been asked to supply 3 cheesecakes.
and it takes 2/3 of a recipe to make one. So what's something that divides into threes? Think of any of your candy bars or anything like that. 3 times 2/3. Try it. You can use the number line method. I would just make my own number line if I was at home, if I was you. Start at 0, break my number line into thirds. There's 1, 2, 3. You can do that. If you have anything at home that could work as Cubalinks, use those. Repeated addition if you want, try that. Anyways, give it a shot. Put your comments in the box on Edmodo, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will play around with our number lines and our Cubalinks and our cheesecakes and all that stuff. Have a great night, grade 8s. I will see you tomorrow.